everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Dr. Ushna from the AMC Smart Prep platform. Today we are going to discuss a very important topic from the endocrinology session, which is extremely important for your exam. If you're preparing for your AMC exam or USMLE, BLAB, FCPS, this topic is extremely important for your exam from the endocrinology portion. If you want to join my session for a complete AMC revision or AMC preparation for the theory portion, this is basically the barcode, or you can scan this code to get access to the WhatsApp group, and there is also Telegram group link which is described in the description box, so you are more than welcome to join. So let's start. If I show you this picture, so having a look at the picture, what you think is the diagnosis? I'll give you a quick review, just 3 2 1 countdown, so just something is click in your mind or not. So this is a very important scenario. Mostly they give you picture as such, the real patient picture in your exam. So very important pictures, you should be familiar with the pictorial or visual mnemonics as well. So if you see such kind of picture, immediately your mind should click towards your Cushing disease. Okay, so yes, our topic is basically Cushing disease or Cushing syndrome. So first of all, you should be very clear that what is the difference between your Cushing syndrome versus Cushing disease. Yes, I'm right. These are two separate entities, and you should be very clear what is the difference between the two. So before rushing towards the topic, you should have a basic concept of your endocrinology portion. That was a nightmare in our MBBS or the medical school, but now you are mature enough to have an idea that what is pituitary, what is hypothalamus, what is your adrenals. We are not going into pathophysiology or anatomy portion, because trust me, that is not required for your exam. So this is basic unit of your endocrine, you can say a powerhouse, which is hypothalamus. And hypothalamus sends your signals to your pituitary. Pituitary has basically two portions. One is known as anterior pituitary and one is known as posterior pituitary. Most of the hormones we are talking about in the endocrinology, most of the diseases we are concerned with, they are diseases of anterior pituitary. Whether you talking about thyroid or your follicular stimulating hormone, your luteinizing hormone, regarding your prolactin, everything is secreting from your anterior pituitary. We are not going into details of which hormone is causing what function. Currently, we are more concerned with the Cushing disorder or Cushing disease. Yes, we are talking about ACTH. So, this is basically the culprit, or this is the problematic thing in your Cushing disease, that in response to your hypothalamus secretion, that pituitary, anterior pituitary is secreting ACTH. Now you have two type of disorders we already talk about. One is basically your Cushing disease and one is your Cushing syndrome. So what is the difference between the two? Whenever the problem is with your pituitary, okay, we are talking about this pituitary, the powerhouse of your endocrine segment, the gland, the major gland of the body. If the problem is with this person or this gland, the problem is known as Cushing disease. And when your pituitary is absolutely normal, problem is something else, then you call it as Cushing syndrome. So Cushing syndrome, it has nothing to do with the pituitary, but Cushing disease, yes, the pituitary is the problematic thing. Now, looking at the labs, what you are going to have, you are going to have, let's say, the pituitary is sending signals to your adrenals that you have to secrete all the hormones, and the hormone that's secreted by the adrenals is known as cortisols. So in your Cushing disease or Cushing syndrome, you are going to have too much cortisol in your body. So when you have too much cortisol in your body, your adrenals are becoming mad and they are secreting too much cortisol in the body. This cortisol is sending the negative signal back to the pituitary that for God's sake, stop producing this ACTH. I do not need further secretory hormone to be more active to produce more cortisol. So what you are going to have, if the problem is with your adrenals, this is the problematic thing in your body, and that is producing so much cortisol in your body. In return, you are having normal feedback and your body is going to have low ACTH. So if this finding is in your body, increase cortisol and decrease ACTH, that means you are talking about your adrenals. Okay, the problem is with the adrenals, that is producing so much cortisol, and that is second sending negative feedback to the pituitary, and the pituitary is going into resting state, not producing ACTH. So just contrary to that side, let's talk about the Cushing disease. So what happens in the Cushing disease? Now, Cushing disease, the problem is with your pituitary. The powerhouse is the problematic thing. So what this pituitary is going to do independently, the pituitary is going to becoming mad, and they are producing so much ACTH in the body. More and more ACTH is produced by the your pituitary. Now, this ACTH is directly stimulating your adrenal gland to produce so much cortisol. So, if your body is going to have so much cortisol and so much ACTH, that means the problem is with pituitary. Okay, so pituitary is giving you some clue. This ACTH, basically, this guy is giving you some clue that the main problem is with your pituitary or problem is with your adrenals. Adrenals are going to have low ACTH, increased cortisol, and pituitary is going to have increased cortisol and increased ACTH as well. The debate is not stopping here. We are going into further detail that what is basically Cushing syndrome and Cushing disease. The important thing is three parameters. Either there are very much high chances that you are taking the hormones from the outside. Let's say you are taking so much steroids, or you are directly taking cortisol from the outside. This can be a important thing as well. Or the problem is ACTH dependent Cushing, which is basically the problem with your pituitary. The most important thing is your pituitary adenoma, that is producing so much ACTH in the body, and that is causing so much cortisol in the body. Or you have ACTH independent means the problem is with adrenals. This is the same thing we have discussed so far. Now the third concept, that is something tricky, that sometimes when your body is having too much ACTH, the problem is not with the pituitary. Okay, your pituitary is absolutely normal, that is a blaming guy, but the problem is that something else is producing ACTH. This is known as paraneoplastic syndrome. Okay, so you all know we have a condition which is basically your lung carcinoma, small cell lung carcinoma, that produces independent to the pituitary so much ACTH in the body, and this ACTH is causing increased cortisol level. So we have a clear concept of why the body is having too much cortisol. So your hypothalamus is producing this guy CRH. This is cortisol releasing hormone which is causing pituitary to produce ACTH, and pituitary produces cortisol. So if you're having more and more cortisol but low ACTH, low CRH, that means the problem is with your adrenals. The problem is not with your pituitary. These guys are absolutely normal. They are responding to the negative feedback. So this is a picture I just showed you in the start of the lecture, that the patient is going to have weight gain, which is basically a central obesity. This is how the central obesity looks like. The extremities are thin as compared to your abdomen or the central portion, and the patient is going to present with a hypertension, glucose intolerance can be there. Patient is having hirsutism, menstrual irregularities in the females, very common, and weak bones are there. Because the extremities are so thin, the patient can present with the osteoporosis. This typical picture, you have to remember that the patient of Cushing syndrome is always going to have purplish stria and easy bruisability. So this is a very important feature of Cushing syndrome, and the presenting feature is this moon face, facial plethora. So all these pictures are summarizing towards the diagnosis of your Cushing syndrome. This is how the pictures look like. This is buffalo hump, the hump on your back of your neck, and this is basically abdominal stria, purplish stria on the abdomen. This is how the patient looks like moon face, increased susceptibility to infection. The patient can have gynecomastia, fat deposition, osteoporosis, purple stria, bruises can be there, amenorrhea. This is a very important feature. Amenorrhea can be there, and along with that, the patient can have thin extremities. So these are all the important feature of your Cushing syndrome. Two very important finding of Cushing syndrome we have just discussed. The patient is going to have hypertension and the patient is going to have diabetes. These are very important finding of your Cushing syndrome as well. Now, if you have make the diagnosis, they will ask you directly the AMC oriented question. They are going to ask you, how are you going to investigate the patient of Cushing syndrome? What are your initial investigation if you are suspecting any patient of having Cushing syndrome. So be clear about this. Most of the time we struggle for just answering the questions because there are so many investigations that are particular for the Cushing syndrome at the different stages. So remember, initial, if the word initial, that is very important. So we have three important tests and all three are initial investigation. So any of these can be in your question. Okay, so any of these can be your answer. You have to look up all three options. And for diagnosis of your Cushing syndrome, you need at least two of these. Okay, so two of these are very important. One is known as 1 milligram overnight dexamethasone suppression test. This is also known as low dose dexamethasone suppression test. One is late night salivary cortisol levels, and one is your 24-hour urinary free cortisol. So any of these can be your answer. Every test is your initial test, and for the diagnosis you need two tests, not the one test. So this is how you need to remember that this is basically your first line investigation or the initial approach. If you have anything abnormal, two of the three tests are abnormal, then definitively your patient is having Cushing disease or Cushing syndrome. Now next step, you have to clarify that what is the reason behind the Cushing syndrome. This can be any three of these conditions. So you should be very particular that this my patient is having ACTH dependent or ACTH independent Cushing. So next step is going to be your part of the flow chart. You have to measure the ACTH. If you have confirmed the hypercortisolism, that cortisol is increased, the next step is going to be measure the ACTH level, and this is basically your confirmatory test. Okay, you are looking upon the cause of your Cushing syndrome now. So if your ACTH level is elevated, that means the reason behind the ACTH is either your pituitary or it can be your paraneoplastic process. Okay, so you will order the MRI pituitary and you will easily find whether there is adenoma or not. If everything is normal, your pituitary is absolutely normal, so maybe you are dealing about ectopic cause of your Cushing syndrome. So this is how you are going to approach the patient of Cushing syndrome. Then if the other part of your flowchart ACTH is low, that means there is nothing wrong with your pituitary, there is nothing wrong with your ectopic ACTH, because ACTH level are low. So the cause is with your adrenals. Okay, adrenals is the cause. So you have to look for the CT scan of the adrenal, and adrenal is the most important cause of your Cushing syndrome. So that's how you're going to answer the most important questions. Now, one very important concept again, if your ACTH was high, let's say I'll come back to this again, that ACTH is high. First of all, you establish the diagnosis, you ordered three tests, two of these became positive and your patient is having Cushing syndrome. After that, you ordered ACTH test, it came out to be positive. Now the query is that whether you're talking about pituitary or you're talking about ectopic secretion. So how you're going to differentiate between the two, whether this is Cushing disease or this is small cell lung carcinoma, how you are going to differentiate the two condition. Here your next test is coming. Okay, so next test is basically your high dose dexamethasone suppression test. This is the, you can say, a tricky question, that sometime low dose, sometime high dose, you keep on struggling what is the answer. So always remember that initial test is always your low dose dexamethasone suppression test. This is how initial is always your low dose dexamethasone suppression test, and your confirmatory to look for the ACTH dependent causes, your high dose dexamethasone suppression test arrives. So this is very clear. This, I think there is no query about the diagnosis of your Cushing syndrome. It's so clear now. If you are still struggling with that flowchart, this is the easiest form of flowchart, that how you are going to approach the patient of your Cushing syndrome. So first of all, you have to confirm the cortisol level are high. How you are going to confirm the cortisol levels are high or not? You are going to order any two of the test, which can be your 24-hour urinary cortisol, your low dose dexamethasone suppression test, your late night salivary cortisol levels. All of these tests are your initial or the first line investigation for your diagnosis of Cushing syndrome. After this, you measure plus ACTH level. If ACTH level is normal or high, even normal, okay, so even normal or high, that means you are talking about ACTH dependent Cushing syndrome. The cause can be your pituitary, cause can be your ectopic. Then differentiating between the ectopic and your pituitary cause, you order high dose dexamethasone suppression test. So if high dose dexamethasone suppression test is positive, the cause is your pituitary. You will order MRI. If there is no suppression of cortisol with the high dose dexamethasone suppression test, your cause is ectopic, and you will order CT scan of the chest or abdomen to look for small cell carcinoma of the lung. So that's how you are going to approach the patient of the Cushing syndrome. If your ACTH was low, that means you are talking about adrenal sources, and you are ordering CT scan of the that adrenal to look for the cause of your either adenoma or carcinoma. So this flowchart is a very summarized, very beautiful flowchart for your any patient of your Cushing disease or Cushing syndrome, the most important one. I hope so you have gathered enough information to reach the diagnosis of the Cushing syndrome. So let's practice some questions that are you able to identify the Cushing syndrome or not. So a 40-year-old female, he presents to GP with a 6-month history of fatigue and weight gain. Young female, fatigue and weight gain is there. She has a medical history of gout, hypertension and chronic back pain. Her medication include short courses of prednisolone for the gout flare. In the past year, 2 courses of 2 each week for 30 milligram. So she is already taking exogenous steroid somehow. Perindopril, paracetamol, celecoxib she is also taking. On examination, BMI is 35, that means she is obese. Weight gain was there, fatigue was there. There is abdominal striae, acanthosis nigricans, hyperpigmentation of the palmar creases. So the diagnosis is very clear. Now, which of the following is the most likely diagnosis? So, what you think? Are you talking about what kind of a diagnosis you are talking about? Is this iatrogenic Cushing due to long-term steroid use, or this is Cushing syndrome due to ectopic ACTH production, or this is Cushing disease or adrenal adenoma or obesity class 2? So again, this can be iatrogenic. Iatrogenic means self-induced, or taking you can say your steroid that she was taking. So what do you think, what can be the cause of the Cushing syndrome? This is something tricky. That's how the exam questions are like. They have given the history of steroids, so maybe you think this is an iatrogenic Cushing syndrome. But remember, this too small in the whole year, just 2 weeks duration courses and with a proper tapering and low dose 30 milligram. This is not something a very high dose of steroid that can cause Cushing syndrome. So this is a basically distractor for you guys. This is not the iatrogenic Cushing syndrome. Definitively we are talking about the Cushing, but this is not due to steroid. So they haven't mentioned anything weight loss or cancer related thing. So we are not talking about the ectopic production of the ACTH, because cancer is not there. No evidence of cancer is there. No signs and symptom of lung carcinoma is there. We are not talking about adrenal adenoma, because again no cancer, no benign tumor is there. So definitively clearly we are talking about the Cushing disease. So this is how you are going to approach the patient, that short courses, do not this option out. Your ectopic, your features of cancer is not mentioned, that's why this is out. So this adrenal adenoma, they do not present with typical features of they, but they have mentioned acanthosis nigricans, hyperpigmentation, so this is also out. So you are talking about the Cushing disease, and the first line investigation, just I have told you, low dose dexamethasone suppression test. This is going to be your first line investigation. Next comes a 44-year-old woman. She presents to GP with a 2-month history of increasing fatigue and the generalized weakness, low mood, and the weight gain. For the 5 kg, despite no change in the diet, she works as a nurse of the rotating day and night shift and has uncharacteristically struggled to sleep between the shifts. Means insomnia is also there. Her medical history include recently diagnosed hypertension, and the medication list include enalapril. So hypertension was also an important cause of the Cushing syndrome. This was the consequences of the Cushing syndrome. On examination, she looks tired and the full plethoric face, central obesity, pulse is 92, blood pressure is 150 by 94, BMI is 36, that means she's obese also. There is bruising over the arms and the vivid pink striations on the lower abdomen, and there is a hypernatremia, hypokalemia, electrolyte imbalance is also there. So we are talking about again typical feature of your Cushing syndrome. Which of the following is the most appropriate next step? Okay, they are not about talking about confirmatory or the most definitive step, they are asking about the next step. So if clinically you are suspecting Cushing syndrome, what should be your approach towards next step? Remember the initial step, what we talk about, we had three tests. We had low dose dexamethasone suppression test, so high dose out. We have this typical your 24-hour urinary cortisol, which is an option. Then after establishing the diagnosis, you go for ACTH test. So this is out, this is out, this is out, this is out. So only you are left with 24-hour urinary free cortisol. So remember, I told you, you have to remember all three options, which are the initial tests, which can be your 24-hour urinary cortisol, which can be your low dose dexamethasone suppression test, and which can be your the third option, which was basically this option, your late night salivary cortisol level. Anything can be your next step or your initial step. So you have to first establish hypercortisolism. That is important thing. So answer is 24-hour urinary free cortisol. Next important, let's summarize the question. Last question. 39-year-old woman, she is referred to endocrinologist for the further investigation for the Cushing syndrome, diagnosed by the GP. Exogenous steroid intake by the patient has been excluded. They are not taking steroid. Midnight salivary cortisol level and low dose dexamethasone suppression are confirmed. Hypercortisolism, and the ACTH level is less than 5. So remember, less than 5, that means you are not talking about pituitary, you are not talking about ectopic, that are basically the cause of high ACTH level. So you are just left with a low ACTH level. That means you are directly talking about your adrenals. These are the cause, these are notorious for producing your Cushing syndrome. So what is the most appropriate next step in your diagnosis? So definitely we have reached the diagnosis. We are talking about the adrenals. So your answer is going to be CT scan of the adrenals, because the adrenal is problematic thing. You have to look for in adrenal, that whether there is adenoma, whether there is carcinoma, what's wrong with the adrenal. So CT scan of the adrenal is going to be your answer. So that's how you're going to approach the patient of the Cushing syndrome. So again, these are the links of my channel. If you want to join the Telegram group, or you want to join the WhatsApp group, these are the your scan you can do for joining the WhatsApp group. So I also offer the paid assistance for the AMC preparation, that is basically 2-month course, and in 2 months you are going to complete whole of your theory interactive sessions. So if you want to join, you want further information, you can comment in the comment section, you can email me, or you can join the groups for the further details. And that's all for today. Thank you so much.